happy Wednesday. You are tuning into Tisha Talks Live. I am Tisha, of course. And to the right of me, this is Emmeline Saavedra. She is the president of the Champions Institute. We had the pleasure of, actually, we haven't even met in person, Emmy. I was just thinking about that. Like, we've never actually seen each other in person. We've just talked online and supported each other from afar, but you live here in the Phoenix area, right?
I do. Yes, I do. And it seems like I've known you forever, Tisha. It's like the Zoom had really changed the world for us. And now that you mention it, yes, we had never met in person. And it's time to make a date, Tisha.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to give a shout out to, hi, Luis Melendez. He's joining us on LinkedIn. And just like Luis, if you are tuning in on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or on YouTube, make sure you say hi. And if you have any questions for Emmy or for myself, please send them in through the chat so we can take a listen. We can engage with you a little bit while we are on this live stream. So Emmy is the president of the Champions Institute, and she just started this company not too long ago. Emmy, when did you start it? It's just pretty recent.
Yeah, we launched this year.
Yes.
Seriously, like amazing, the most amazing. We created that inside COVID. And so, it's really divine. It's really had been an amazing ride.
Yay. Yeah. Okay, I love it. I feel like a lot of us have had to create and pivot in COVID. Yes. And there's a lot that's been coming out. I can honestly say that I feel like I got very, very clear on who I was, what I wanted to do, and that I wanted to take back control of my business and of my world. And same with you, like same kind of thing. And today we're talking about purpose-driven missions. And I love this topic because I do feel this, Emmy, that if you're going to start something, there's got to be a why. There's got to be some purpose behind it. So the first question I want to ask you is, why did you start the Champions Institute? And what is the Champions Institute for those people who are tuning in live or watching the replay?
Sure, yeah. And the Champions Institute, we are an educational company. We provide coaching, training, and as well as consulting to business owners, business teams, people with organizations, right, and whole team. So basically what we specialize in is in teaching the tools and the tricks of being sales champions inside leadership as well, because, and since we're talking about leadership, Tisha, leadership is all about influence. So what we teach in our company is we are very customized. We do personal creations designed for where the person is coming from, and we give them whatever they need, the tool set and the art and skills, help them build up, get their message across, help them build confidence. And so the company came about as a creation, seriously, of a dream, because all I really want, like as I went through life, had been in multiple businesses, been, really successful, and having been in a lot of growth and development stage, what I realized was that if I knew then what I know now, what would life have been like? And so the passion comes from, let us teach, the young ones. Let me teach the people who never had access to the resources we have. Let them have this early, have them have it as soon as possible. So that is really the whole mission, is really being purpose driven, to be of service to humanity, such that every human being have access to what they need to succeed with velocity and with power as well. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that message. So I want to ask you something, because you talked about, giving people these resources and being able to help them. But I want to make this distinction too, that I've met people that absolutely want to take the resources and run with them and are like, yes, whatever you can give me to better me. Awesome. But then I also get the people that take it for granted. Do you ever feel that way, that there are people that are like, I get this for free, I'm never going to use it. I get this coaching, okay, I'm never going to use it. Like, I'm never going to call that person. And it just makes me so upset, because I'm like, you were getting this. If I had this when I started, oh my gosh, it would have been such a game changer. So I don't know about how you feel about that, but my goodness, like, I feel like there's a definite distinction between the people who are the go-getters that want it, that will do anything and everything to make it happen, and the people that just really do take it for granted.
Totally right. And that is really the part of where human beings are so different. They have different point of views. And, if you want to be the top 1% or even the top 10% of the world, this is what you really need, is to be humble enough to recognize that we don't know everything, and always be thirsty to learn more and grow more. Because, Tisha, I don't know about you, I'm sure you and I share the same heart. At the end of the day, it's not about us, it's about what we are leaving this world with. To me, at this point of my life, I'm really committed to building a legacy. And that's why the whole point of the company was created, to leave, give them everything we know, like exhaust us all, right? And so the thing is that we all have equal opportunities. We all have 24 hours a day, but our perceptions are different. Like you said, some people take it for granted, some don't. And really, it all matters. It all comes down to awareness of transformation. Like, what do you really want to be? Like, who are you to the world? You have to be given more than who you are, because if you're living a life that's beyond you, that is where you find the purpose, and that is what makes life sustainable, and this work make it more fun.
Yes, I love that. So you talked about fulfillment of dreams and how this business is really your fulfillment of dreams. So have you always had this vision in your head of, this is what I want to create for people, this is how I want to, and Luis used this word, empower people? What was that like for you, and coming up with this and just making this that dream that you now get to do? Like, this is your business.
Yeah, it's so great because I live by two words of who I am. And I share this with Brandon as well, who's my business partner. So what's really important to me is to have dreams be fulfilled. So two words, dreams fulfilled. And so what I realized coming on, I came into this country as a first generation immigrant. And I thought I already achieved my dream of coming to this country. I love this country with all of my heart. And so I realized later on, like, our dreams don't have to stop just because you fulfilled one. And you just keep creating and creating. And to me, that is really what makes life so fun and so pleasurable. And you actually attract more goodness to you as you keep on giving it away. And I'm not in my 50s for nothing, right? We learned something along the way. And so, hey, at this stage, let's keep on empowering the young people. Let's keep empowering the people who never have the awareness or even the desire or the hope or the vision to see it. Because now we can, and why not? Let's be generous and let's not keep it to ourselves.
That's it. I do. I know people like that they just want to hold it hostage. And I'm like, you have so much knowledge to share. Can you imagine if you helped other people, what that does for your soul, your spirit, and helps them? Oh my goodness. Hey, we have a comment here from Conrad Nelson, good friend of mine. And he was just talking about, we were just getting on the subject of, there are people that are going to take full advantage of what you're able to provide and offer them because they see themselves bettering. They see themselves learning and growing and are always in a constant state of growth. But then you do see some people, and he just said here, and some people are lazy, that even if they pay for the resources, as if buying the thing will make them successful. So what do you feel? So here's a question for you, Emmy. What do you feel people need in order to succeed? What do you think?
Number one, you need to have the deep desire. Like Napoleon Hill could not emphasize it enough, right? The number one secret is always the deep desire. If you have the deep desire to really be all you want to be, fulfill your dreams, like dream as big as you can possibly get, right? Then you will have that. And, it's true. People do Conrad is right. I really can agree with him with the lazy part, because people do tend to be lazy because you got to peel out the layers. Like, why are they not doing the actions that they see could really help them fulfill what they're up to? And if you keep on peeling the onion layers, you will find out that at the bottom, at the core of it is really fear.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Tisha, you heard it before. We are not really fearful of our darkness. We are fearful of the light that we are, of your greatness. And people do have that. And so it takes courage to be successful. And it takes desire. And it takes a whatever it takes kind of attitude. You got to want it so much for others more than for yourself.
Right. And then Conrad saying fear is absolutely what holds us back. Yeah. I was told one time from a friend, he's like, I think you have a fear, Tisha, of making money. I don't know if that was really the right words I would have said, but there was definitely an underlying fear. And Conrad and I have talked about this too. We talked about just the fear of success, of what if I get so big and I can't handle it and now I'm overwhelmed and now my priorities are being thrown out the window. Like, what if? Like I just had a meeting today, an amazing meeting, and I'll share more later, but this gentleman was so kind and he said, Tisha, what if I could build your business overnight and you had thousands of realtors coming to you for personal branding? And I was just like, he's like, what would you do? I'm like, I guess I'd have to hire more. And he's like, but what would change in your business? Because you just are trading one thing for the next thing, right? And it just, you have to get really clear on what is that life for you? What's that legacy that you're leaving behind? What do you want your life to be designed as?
Totally. And Tisha, in our company, we always go with the 3 I's, right? Impact, influence, and income. So we really like what you just shared. Yeah, I mean, if things were to change and suddenly your comfort zone is stretched, right? Like suddenly you have 2,000 people wanting to your services and you're still geared for 10. So what do? Do you fight or flight, right? Some people cower, and that's when they get lazy, like what Conrad said, right? They hide behind lazy and they hide behind no action, because no action is an action. Yeah. So what you do is that, hey, dude, we can embrace it and say, my God, your strength shows up at those moments. Your faith shows up at the moments where you are asked to, just jump over the wall, right? And that is where you discover the greatness that you're all created to be. And that's what we always believe at the Champions Institute. Like, we really are a stand for everyone's to be their own champion, personally and professionally.
I'm hearing this phrase a lot lately from some friends of, I don't overthink it. I'm just flying the plane as I go. Yeah. Like there's a plan there, but it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to sit here and freak out about it and have fear. We're just going to go with it and we're going to figure this out. What do you think about that? Do you agree with that thinking? I'm just like picking your brain here, Emmy.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, I study personality science. So that is actually what action people do. They are just so geared to doing it that they thrive under pressure. They thrive. They fly the plane while they're building the plane, right? At the same time, that is good. That works for them. At the same time, you have another type of personalities. We call them the blueprints and the knowledge, the intellectual, the logical ones. They cannot thrive inside that scenario. They just keep planning. I don't know if you agree with me, Tisha, but planning is actually the key to success. You gotta plan. Just even when you and I are so huge on strategic collaborations, even that you gotta plan your hours, because you want to maximize the resources you have, right? And to answer your question, it can work and it can also not be the best idea. So the whole point is to discover it and play the game.
Yep.
Right?
I think so. Well, and you talk about that, different personalities and who can handle this and discipline and all of this. I want to bring this up. Nat put up a good comment here. And hello, Nat. Good to see you hanging out on Facebook with us. Said you need a strong why for what you do. Having a strong why is what keeps you in the fight when everyone else quits. A strong why is what motivates your team when all seems lost. A strong why is the reason you will succeed while everyone else fails. There you go. There's some words of wisdom for you this Wednesday.
So true. The why is your purpose in life. You discover your purpose and it will sustain you. Very, very smart. Thank you, Nat. Really good.
I'm going to try and find it, but I want you to talk to us about, you want to be able to empower today's youth and the leaders of tomorrow, which I put this into my vision board, Emmy. I always do like these little vision mini books I think I've shared before. And I've always talked about my biggest why is leading the next generation, making sure you asked this earlier of, if I only knew now what I knew, what I knew then, like honestly, I could go back and help those people. So yeah, we've had to fail through a lot of things, but we have this great gift called experience. And being able to teach other people that this is how I built it, I'd like to help you do the same, right? So it's always that giving mentality. But But I wanted to share something with you. So I am reading this book, The Go-Giver Leader, and plug for John David Mann. He's one of the co-authors. He's going to be on Casual Convo Friday with us this week. But they talk about holding the vision. And you were talking about leadership. And one thing that they brought up in this book is that you can be the leader, but you have to make sure that others see the vision, even when they don't see the vision. Like, you have to keep that vision so clear in your head and keep communicating it, which in a way is the why. What do you see? What's the why? Why are you doing it? And you have to keep communicating that, because like Nat was saying, people may bail on you. They don't see it anymore. Why are you doing it? But it has to be within you. You have to hold the vision, is what they're saying.
That's your job as a leader. You
it is.
The team, you want to lead your own life, you want to lead your family. You got to have the vision clear. Clarity is always power, right, Tisha? And, to me, if you're very present and aware and you live and breathe your vision and mission every day, you don't even have to speak it. People can see it in you. It radiates, right? You glow with it. It radiates. And who you're being speaks louder than the words that come out of your mouth. So, yeah, that is definitely one of the real secret, right? Like, how can you influence people? Mm-hmm. You influence them by the deepness and the fire within your soul and yourself, by holding that vision always clearly, always clearly, and power comes out of it. You can just walk to the room without saying anything. People can see who you are, your vision, what your vision can create for them, and they want to follow you. That is a great leader.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, highly recommend that book.
Yeah, awesome. I'm gonna look for that book.
Oh, and what's funny is I just read the section on influence, so I'll have to fill you in on what it says. So Nat put up another great quote here. Speaking of Napoleon Hill, there's one quality which one must possess to win, and that is the definitiveness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and the burning desire to possess it. There you go.
And Nat is so smart. And thank you for watching, Nat. So, Tisha, this just holds clear, right? Like, there are foundational values and elements to successes that never wanes with time. And so when Napoleon Hill wrote his book hundreds of years ago, hey, it still holds true to now. Like, seriously, these are just foundational, fundamental. And so I embrace all that. And, you're doing such a great job in bringing everything back to light, Tisha. Like, awesome you. So kudos.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, I know we have a couple more minutes left, and I want to talk about this course, this amazing webinar that I took with you, Emmy. And it was all about, let me put it up on the board, but it was about your sales success. Let me see here. It's the secrets of sales superstars, and you can find information at tcisalechampions.com. This is where Emmy hosts this. And it's a pretty incredible webinar that you put on as a resource for people on understanding that you can't interact with people the same way, because we're not all geared the same way. We're not all wired the same way. We all have different personalities and different traits. So do you want to talk a little bit about what people can learn on that free webinar, Secrets of Sales Superstars?
Absolutely. So I'm very proud of this webinar. Firstly, it's complimentary, right? So this is my give back. So what you can learn from this webinar is that what can make you a most influential person. And when you can influence, you can sell anything and everything. And, people have different perception of what the word sales is like, but sales is simply the ability to influence profoundly. And so, we're under the premise, we are all with different personalities. And so it is my belief that we communicate differently as well, being of different personality types. And when we communicate differently, our values are just as different as well. Right? And so in this webinar, we always teach you to honor your client, to honor the person across you for who they are. And so I do teach them how to really assess the person's personality based on their values and buying decision. What will make them be a yes to you? And if you can be that person, if you can match their communication and the way they express themselves and the way they want to hear you say things, then you just created a very, very, very influential relationship and connection. Everything is about connecting with the other human being, Tisha. At the end of the day, you're not selling to a dog, you're selling to a human being. You're interacting with a human being, right? And so
did you just say I'm not selling to a dog?
You can do that, but they don't communicate the language we do, right? Or a statue. You don't sell to a statue. You sell to a live human being, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the whole premise of the webinar. It's super powerful, and I lead it so they get the fullness of who I am. I can teach you quite a bit, right? Like, let's do this live. Like, why not? Let's pass on our wisdom, Tisha. Let's just give it all away.
Yeah. You know, so you guys know that I mean, I just brought it up, The Go-Giver. I love that book. But he's even saying, if you tuned into that webinar I did with Bob Berg, and now I'm doing one with his webinar live stream, doing one with his co-author, they're not saying give everything you have away. It's saying it's reciprocal. Like, it comes back to you in more ways than one. You get out of your own way and stop holding what you've got hostage. Like, if you are the giving type, and if you start helping people, it comes back so much more in your happiness and your joy and your income and your impact and all of it. So I agree. I highly recommend, if you were tuning into this live or catching the replay with Emmy, that you take this free webinar. It was game changer for me. She goes through some awesome strategies and gives you some practical tips. And I will say this too, Emmy, I've been on webinars where I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't get that hour back of my whole life ever. Like, there was nothing new, but I learned something when I went through. I was like copiously taking notes because I'm like, this is so good. I'm going to learn from Emmy and use this when I start working with prospects.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? At this age, emotional intelligence has been proven to be the driving force with being influential. It's not the IQ, but it's the EQ, right? And so learning how to communicate and building empathy for the other person is really key. And that is really what the webinar is all about. They have an opportunity to see it beyond what they know and also have access to resources, because that's the promise, Tisha. We build businesses. The Champions Institute was created and built on the foundation of being of service to humanity, right? And so we know this term critical mass. And so we always partner with people who have influence as well with spreading the same values and the same legacy to the rest of the world. And you're right. The universe has a way of giving back to you more than what you give out, always. And if you live with this faith, you'll never go wrong in this path we call life.
Yep. I love it. Okay. So we've got Royce Blake saying, great stuff, Tisha. Thank you, Royce, for joining us tonight. And Conrad saying, I'm not a salesperson. I'm in the people business. And we all are. I mean, if you think about it, we are all selling something, of course, but I think that people get hung up on that word. Like you said, sales is just so icky. But if you turn it around and you're like, I'm in the business of serving other people, it becomes a little easier to swallow. You start to enjoy it more. You start to develop those connections and those relationships that we talk about so much.
Yes, for sure. And, you know, you'd rather your customer have you to serve them than for someone else, because you don't know how they're serving them. So like Conrad said, right, being the people's business, serve them because you know who you are, and you're going to be the best person for them.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I'm going to add something. So you guys, my kids ended their school year today. So awesome. Last day of school. And I always say, and you know this, Emmy, about me, I was like, do some small gestures, do something that makes you stand out. What are you going to do? And my son has had a really great relationship with his PE teacher. She believes in him. She's like, you should go out for the golf team. You should do this. And so today, this is such a great story. And I'll probably bring this back on Friday when I talk about it in my Lexus, my lessons in my Lexus. But he said that he walked into class today, Emmy, and the teacher was just talking about the past and how she said, wow, so many kids in the past would always bring me things just to round out the end of the year, like thank you cards. And she didn't get anything this year. And here comes my son with his bouquet of flowers and a thank you card. And she just like started bawling, crying. And he told me this, and I was like, do you see what I'm saying? That the small gestures of helping other people and giving back to them and letting them know how much that you appreciate them comes back to you And he totally got that. I was like, I hope you're taking notes, son.
Great teaching. Great teaching. Yeah. And, that's so awesome, Tisha, because you're actually teaching your kid early on that every action, every word that he utters has an impact on the other person.
Yeah.
So make it a great impact, and kudos to you. Kudos to you and your family. Like, good job.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, yeah. Emmy. So I know you have one more thing you wanted to talk about, your strategy session. Do you want to round us out with that? Tell us how people can go to your website or be able to have a strategy session with one of your experts.
Yeah, I welcome everyone. Get your complimentary. We do offer 30-minute discovery call. Let's see where you're at. Let us break it down. Let us be in the listening for you and understand where can we serve you? What do you need to propel yourself to the next level? What will make you be in the excellent zone? Let us be there. And, it's the best thing we can give is the gift of time and the gift of wisdom. So go to the website, tcichampions.com, and just hit contact or schedule, and we'll make sure that you get served. And Tisha, they can always contact me as well at my email address, Emmy, EMMIE, at tcichampions.com. And hey, if they forget it, they can always reach out to you, Tisha. You're my sister in spirit and in everything.
Yeah, this is my sushi soul sister. Like, we were talking about, I think the first interaction we had, Emmy, was about Vegas and sushi and foodies. And yeah, you find a lot of common thread, and it's what connects you.
Yes, and Korean barbecue. How about that?
And Korean barbecue. We can't forget Korean barbecue.
Yeah. And everyone's invited to join us anytime.
Yeah, awesome. I highly recommend you guys take advantage of that. The Champions Institute, your tagline, I saw it on your logo. It's empowering excellence. Yes, that's it?
Yes, empowering your excellence, right? We always believe in pulling out the greatness in the person and stepping into their greatest as well. So be your greatest. Be in your greatness always. So we want to empower that excellence. If you don't see it yet, trust me, you have it in you. And we want to be that source for you. So that's really who we are. And, come visit our website and learn. We keep on growing. We keep on adding experts as well. Tisha, we collaborate very powerfully with the best. And you're actually one of them. So
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anytime.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Emmy. I really love what you said, too, of stepping into your excellence zone. That's awesome, because we always talk about getting in the zone, stepping into your excellence zone. Yeah. So figuring out what that is, and you can do that with the Champions Institute and their help. So thank you so much, Emmy. Again, don't forget, join her on the webinar, The Secrets of Sales Superstars. You can catch that on her website and sign up for that. And Emmy, such a pleasure. Thank you for being on with me today, and happy Wednesday.
Yes, my pleasure, Tisha. All the best to all your followers. Just all the best to everyone. Okay.
Thanks, Emmy.
You're welcome.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.